peace-wise, there will be true respect when heaven is seated. Please let's all 3 times be respect to continue.
All blessings to all of you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, too soft. Can we put this little more? For this practice, I hope you get all the willpower and strength. This is like a dream for me. It's like I can see the heart of Penang, the people here. When you think of the planet, there's something very special about this place, this area. I thought Sri Lanka was special. Yeah, really. Now Sri Lanka will have to be second. Yeah, I'm not joking. You can see from the children, you can see from the people. That means they have that in their genes, the potential, there's some connection, their lives, though they are born here karmically, with the Buddha. And not only with the Buddha, it's with some spiritual evolution. And which is I see as a fact I must tell. I don't want to tell because I feel equally important all people around the world. They all have potential, no doubt. But even myself, in Buddha Gaya, I was struck by them. But I see that it's not with me only. Whatever that will create wholesomeness, or they are easily able to, take that, accept that very quickly. So, is it off again or no? Okay. So now, I'm very glad that you managed to come on this has been now really from many years I wanted to give this. But I always thought, if I had any imperfections, I didn't want to give this. Okay, so many years back, I was invited to States as a young monk when I was striving. Then I said, when I become an arahant, I will come. And I was not joking, but I don't want these titles as arahant or anything. But I want to. When I look at my own thoughts, I should get this. Some confidence, some happiness that I'm pure enough to instruct somebody. So what happened in 2012, I did happen to come to public in Sri Lanka, and because just after Himalayas Kailash, when I returned, there was a lot of overflowing energy. So 2012 in Sri Lanka, people used to sit down like 8 o'clock in the morning and they leave early morning, 8 o'clock, evening 8 o'clock. Like this 12 hours, they just sit and wait. Then only I thought, well, I must give them something, and started the first programs. So it was just 20 seats kept there in Sri Lanka, the hall, the small monastery I was staying that time. And when the program time came in the evening, all over the people were coming. It was the first time actually, no posters, nothing. It just like thousands of people in the monastery packed outside and inside. So this is how the first program started. But again I went for solitude and for my own practice. And 2017 I came again to the public, but this was after a near-death experience in Kailas, Mansarovar. It was there that, you know altitude sickness, have you heard about this? So I had this altitude, we do get altitude sickness generally when you're climbing, when you're going to the high altitudes of Himalayas. But I have seen people dying also, who are old sometimes, frail, and even young people. But this time I really got it. Like I was meditating in a cave in Mansarovar. I don't know, are you familiar with Kailash, Mansarovar? No? Okay. It's like a big lake. That lake's supposed to be the Anotattavila, have you heard? The Buddha's mother, she saw a dream where she was taken to that lake and took a bath and like that. This is supposed to be that lake. It's the biggest lake in the Himalayas, 98 kilometers, the circumference. And so this lake, I want to put a dip into this lake. So I have done that in 2012 and all that. Whenever I went, like every year I happen to go from 2009. So this 2015, I was looking for a place to, a warm place where the sunlight is falling to make a dip. Then I saw some caves. So I went up there and started meditating. So it was very cold, very chilly, winds and all that, and I was not properly covered, not like this, but with another shawl or some very scanty, not proper covering. So after some time, I went and had a bath at hot water springs. Okay, sudden this contrast, cold and warm. The guide also was getting late to find a room for me, and she was busy, with all this other activity, the driver and everybody. I was feeling dizzy, and then I knew I'm getting something unusual. So I told them I need a room. Can you please? Then they knew maybe something wrong. So they quickly arranged a room for me. And like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the night, now nearly it became dark, 10, 11 and close to 12, they managed to call a doctor. Now slowly I can't even lift my hand, and breathing like, so much breathlessness. Just even how long to go on like that? Then they called this doctor, and the doctor, came late night, from village, native doctor. So they gave me something, but there's no medicine for high altitude sickness except to descend. So what happened? We have to wait until next day morning. Like Takalakot is said, near bordering Tibet, Kathmandu, Nepal. There are helicopters as well as small flights. So we had to wait until next day morning. So around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, I feel I can't make it. And then I was lying down, and then I was preparing to leave. So we have a practice, how to look at our own body, and we have been practicing for a long time to prepare for death. Okay. So my teacher, they have taught us all this particular practice many years. So then I was to look at ourselves objectively as Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, body, feelings, perceptions. So I was going to focus on that. So like this, from looking at yourself from outside. So while I was going to focus, suddenly another thought came, that I couldn't give enough to the people. I regret actually. Can't help it, next life I will do it. So this was, in fact, so many things happened. I managed to survive, okay, that's a long story. So that was the thing that prompted me. I didn't become an Arahant, but that was the thing that prompted me 2017 to sort of start sharing whatever I had already. So mustn't wait for like PhD, even if you get other whatever way you must be able to share them to the people. In the modern time, I think it's a very necessary thing. Because today is like, you can't even think of meditation happening. And the idea that Nibbana could be attained today, it's also been lost in the people's mind. Now when I have come to the public, I can see that any other programs and practices is just for the sake of doing meditation. No hope that there can be meditation, you can achieve a real goal in this time also. So again I went to, because that's what I'm used to. After that 2017, 2018, 19 I was in the Himalayas and the Sri Lanka jungles. And then 2023 I had a very special experience. Okay, now I don't want to, before I tell that, are you all okay? Relax. Take it easy. Today will be the most, if it's going to be difficult, today is the most difficult day, okay? Because you're coming out of your comfort zone. And another thing is, I don't know how far, not easy. This I call a karmic operation. I told people only in a retreat, this karma, that really your karma will be really properly operated. Programs are like, I call them the emergency ward. Okay? And so this is really a very specific. If you manage to come even, I am also surprised. Because I can imagine how many obstacles, how many difficulties, and even the organizers, how many things they might be facing. But they have the divine hand behind it, don't worry. Definitely, that is there. Otherwise, it's a need of a higher beings, I feel this, so that, even in Sri Lanka, I see that at least this platform is created now, that people now will get the chance who is capable of. But definitely the opposite forces will be there. I can see when I started this whole thing, entire certain devotees and organizers, they all left, they are not matching this karma, this speed. So I will not be lingering with looking back with the people who are, I'll be going on with the people who are now ready to experience the more higher practice. I was thinking why did they leave? Did I go with a lady or something? Because I brought this special spiritual, this was the main thing I wanted to bring. That is that the practice is possible, that can be done. And bringing the purity of the main purpose of the Dhamma, Buddha's main mission. The Buddha Sasana, it is nothing but the path and the fruit. This is what you should be getting, not anything less. And that is one assurance that you don't fall to a lower world and you will be very strong enough to face death, that you'll go from more happiness to happiness further. That is the sole purpose of this, the Buddha's compassionate, the teaching and his organization as a sasana. Did you take rest? Huh? Look like that. What happened? What happened? You organizing and so on?
It's okay.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. Like a lot of volunteers, everybody would be
Okay. Right. So this is very important. And as I told you, when you come here, learn to relax. Tonight you can. Tomorrow we'll be starting the morning also. Okay, getting up 3 and 3:30. But if you have not, if you are not rested and you are tired, then you actually sleep. Don't worry. Okay. But next day, if you want to, try to make use of that time. Okay, I'll be trying to come here from the monastery because I think I might need to give that. Normally the recording goes on. Okay, so but I'm not forcing you. But that will be the cosmic energy. The morning time, there's a special effect. I'm using that for if there are any blockages in you, that will also help you. Okay, and some have taken back to their normal practice after the retreat. That's a great thing. Early morning, using that, nature's support for your, inner path, inner journey. Okay, you must use all that, and So definitely phones and all that is, really a no. Okay, normally they take the phones during retreat, but I don't know, maybe, but if it is like your responsibility, really is a strict thing, because your karma will start to this thing. I have seen some people who accompany me. Okay, they want to, like, who are attending and like they really want to experience something, staying close to me. So once I remember we were going near a sacred place and I'm getting so much energy in that place, and I could see this person, answering the phone again, this call, one call after the other. And then he just can't focus at all. And then when he goes back, he tells, Bhante, I don't know what happened. Nothing, now no calls. That time when we were coming closer to this place, so many calls and distracted me. So I can imagine the karma, So this, as I told you, if you're getting obstacles, that means this is a real effective thing. And no talking is the other one. Are you staying in a dormitory or how is it? Sharon? How many in a dormitory?
20.
In a room, sometimes there are about 20 something. Sometimes smaller rooms.
Have how many? The smaller one?
So far it's 3. Smaller ones 3.
3, okay. 3 and the bigger one 20, no? But wonderful, you have a facility like this also. It's a very nice opportunity. So this is very important to, really observe silence. Okay. If you have a problem, of course you can tell the organizers, but complete silence. The reason is this. I have not big knowledge to give you. Okay. But I am giving you how to experience. This is the distinction. Okay. This word of the Buddha and all that, somebody who in an academical way would think this is like, what is this, grade 8, somebody did mention actually, grade 8 Buddhism. Okay? They don't know there is a vision that can come in those words. Only yogis, meditators, they are living a life of purity and tranquility, then they have that possibility to have that. These are like signposts or kind of a stimulation for your contemplation. And then with that contemplation you will get vision. So this is actually, that's why one doesn't try to understand the suttas also. If you don't understand, you just skip. But you will allow that plain, like Buddha is talking to you. And then the moments of unexpected moment, that clarity can come. Okay, at least the seeds are sown now in this retreat. Because this is a 14-day, my own personal experience with my teacher, I have brought it to 5 days. Not now, this is also 4 days, that's why I was in a hurry to come and quickly impart to you and start now immediately. Because I see some result after the 3rd day. So now 4th day, then you're gone. So I just want to hurry quickly. And because I want you to, that's the minimum. Of course there have been 1-day retreats also. I can see some divine thing happening. That was also very good in Australia. I really didn't like that. But when I did it, I found that, there was something special in that too. So, but I don't want to reduce it one by one day, then maybe half a day and 1 hour. No, I know that solidly, if you can do more, it is greater, because you have to uncondition yourself. From all the ideas, this thing. That's how I experienced when I first did it with my teacher. I found that these were the original teachings, like, we are going back to Buddha's time. Rather than now what Dhamma and type of things we have, it is actually with our defilements, how we have interpreted and how we are brought to the world. Okay? So we have to uncondition from that and go exactly like the time of the Buddha. So that needs more time, but at least these 5 days, I'm sure this will be a kind of an initiation for you to the Master's feet, lotus feet. So I must tell you how I came about, next time to come to the public like this. Again, not because I became an Arahant. There was something else that happened. It was in 2023, before that, just like few months before that year. There's one of my Indian yogis not yogis, attendants actually, in Buddhagaya, in fact. He's from Buddhagaya, he was the assistant who helped me those days from the beginning. So he's also concerned, he has seen many years how I have been striving and all the difficulties I face and challenges. And so his idea of, he likes me to, his idea of arahantship is in the Indian mind, It's like if I create chocolate or something like this, okay, materialize something, miraculously, okay. So this is his idea of attaining. So there's one special sadhu in India. Now in India also, now most of the parts, even in Sri Lanka, the faith in the monks and that they do have, they're special, they have to be practiced. Of course, people who have faith, they already have faith. But to create more faith in them and to create faith in the people who don't have faith, then you have to do something special, something, really. So in that situation in India also, there's one monk, and monk means sadhus, not monk, you could call them. Sadhu, the term sadhu? No? Sannyasi, sadhu, Baba, the Indian way, they have this. So he's one of these renunciates, okay, in that tradition who have developed samadhi and have got enough certain powers. So he actually, he is so popular there in India, but my assistant was very impressed by him, so he was concerned that I go there. So he actually, my assistant normally doesn't tell me like that, but so I was wondering why he tells me, and I did go. And when I went, it's like a small village and a lot of people there, and there's a mountain, very special mountain there, a sacred mountain. So he was not there, that particular master or yogi was not there. I was very happy anyway for the energy in the mountain and the area. So I went there, actually I made a determination that time that I hope one day I will meet someone who had more, psychic full power actually. I just made that, I never forget, I made that deep will and wish for to help more on the path, what I'm doing. Then I left, and when I went again, another trip. When I went there, there's a flight from Delhi. So in that flight, when I was going, he was also there. He also have been doing these programs, and then he has he's going back home. So when we landed, few people knew it was late night, and then he saw me from far and he called me and said, Swami, are you going to his place? Okay, I don't want to tell the place name. Okay. Then he said, I said yes. Then he told his people, the security, and he has lot of crowd gathers around him. So in India, a lot of. Then I already had a vehicle arranged for me. So he told them, please bring this Swamiji to me. And then I followed him. And then he goes to his mother's home, in fact, first after all these programs. It's a very like a village area. So when we were inside, there were like 1,000 people there, knowing that he has come around 11 o'clock in the night. So he called me and other few who were there. And then he knew other people actually. He's famous for this, in fact. Like thousands of people there, he would call by their personal information, like name and he would call them and tell them to sit down. And then he would have a board and he would write. What is this? And then he would ask, why did you come? What's your problem? And they would say they have cancer, they have some problem, this, that. And then he has written all that and then even given a solution. So he's very popular for this, in fact. So people with all types of problems. So now actually my organizers are trying to control my, they are trying to take me to the, what is this? But I'm trying to remove the suffering in every level too. So, but the organizers are not used to also in Sri Lanka. Sometimes they also, no one has, they respect me, they like me very much, but I don't see they really know me exactly. So what happened there? So he's popular for this ability. So what happened? He told the other people in the group, when they were leaving, he told, "I want to meet with you." And he and me and a person to translate, we were in the room. He did the same. He didn't write with a blackboard, but he told everything like my personal life and the kind of thing. So I meet him then after that several times. Whenever I go, without any, I have no ways of keep contact or this thing, but we were meeting. And he told the reason why we were meeting, like without any effort, was that we have been brother monks in the past, brother yogis in the previous lives. And we had the same power, same meditation in the samadhi, I'm sure, not in Dhamma or Nibbana way. So anyway, this is the reason. And he encouraged me a lot. And he told me that one time he told me, your meditation not enough. And then in his private room, he explained to me, not that it's not enough, we want to, encourage you, you can do more. You can do more. And you please, you can do more. That's why we said it's not enough. Otherwise, so they encourage me to. So what I did, I must tell you, after I became a monk, I was like living a very ascetic life. My teacher was also living a very, never went by vehicle, walking and always arms round. So myself too, then I have to do that. He was a living then. And then I also liked that way. And in the forest, getting wet, getting dry, no shelter as such, and cutting across. So this way of life, it was there for many years. And also I had to live with some little tough people around in the monastery. That means, you do find, so I use more samadhi. So I incline more to samadhi. In samadhi, it's like anesthesia, you don't feel much, So this way, the contemplation, it decreased. Okay? So contemplation was there very much with the suttas from the age of 18. And until I ordained actually. But I can now notice after the ordination, this contemplation decreased. Alright? So then I was inclined, then I was with the LTT those days, the terrorists, the Tamils, they were trying to ask for separate land. And then I cut across the area. There's a trip I went, like 1,500 kilometers up and down. So all that was a lot of samadhi. Of course, there's some inside contemplation, but very little. Okay, like when I saw them, I didn't see them as LTT. I saw them as 5 skandhas. Okay, which I already trained. And then that I also thought, if they are also capable, they have craving for these 5 skandhas. Do you know the meaning skandha? Body, feeling, perception. I will explain that more because that's a very important thing you'll be slowly getting used to. So then I was contemplating that time that these 5 skandhas, that these 5, the craving is there in them also. But if the craving, if they also can do the analyzing contemplation, that's a universal thing. You don't have to belong to any religion or caste or anything. If you have a human brain, you can do that. So that if they do like that, if they get the vision, they will eliminate their craving. And then they will have peace. They also can come to Nibbana. So this way, I was having metta with the idea of first as skandhas, and then khanda, and then wishing metta. So they saw me, they have been noticing me while I was going. They were thinking maybe it could be a spy or whatever. But they were wondering why I'm so happy. Of course, wishing metta to them. And so this is something that I practically did. So this journey was one of the journeys I had. So all this was very tough, like physically. But that strength I got from samadhi. And then, when he told not enough, I did the same, increased my samadhi practice more, and more determination, willpower, and like these practices which I normally do, and little bit contemplation, and I went back. In the crowd he saw me far away, and I asked him, how is my meditation? Like X-ray, I wanted to know from him. Then he looked at me and said, like this. So what does it mean? It's like, he said, I will explain to you. And then we met in his private room, and he told me, your samadhi is good, your saddha, faith is good, your willpower is good, but know me meditation is not good, not enough. Know me. His English is also not very good, so he's like from a village boy like person, but very noble soul, I would say. So know me means I immediately understood that he's talking about the no self meditation. So that is the closest he could tell. In India you have Ramana Maharishi, south of India, who talk about no I, who am I? He has a question way of the way he realized it. But he also explains, it's an explanation, the body is not I, not consciousness. So consciousness as is not I, when the I really sees, it's a moment, that's the real wisdom where it comes from analyzing the conditioned nature, conditionality. We are going to do it now, okay? So anyway, I knew when, and then he explained like, you have a book with you, which is the Samyutta Nikaya book. Okay, not this one, the big one of Bhikkhu Bodhi. Translation. This is what has been made for your retreat, okay? But there's a big book, the entire Samyutta Nikaya. Okay, that book, I used to keep with me in the caves, in the Himalayas, but only few pages I would read, but go back to Samadhi. This was so many years happening like that. So he told me, you have that one book, and I was surprised how he knew I have this book. And then he told, if you read that, you contemplate, you will, you open up your entire brain. That is the frontal cortex, or that it has the ability to, and he told me, this is the highest. If you practice this more, we'll have to search for you. So this is how he encouraged me that time. So I went back, and now I forced myself in Sri Lanka, in one of the forest monasteries, I forced myself to read now. Okay, now I'll tell you how I came to what I'm going to give you. Alright, without a basis, I would never force anything on anyone, and see I have tasted myself, then I would tell. Okay, so what happened, I forced myself, I left that metta and anapanasati meditation of samadhi, and I forced to read, there's one section called Kandavagga. I read that, not the way you're going to do it also, but fast I read it, without much understanding also. And I went back. When I went back, 80% this has grown. 80%. Whatever he sees, from his, then I had got a lot of confidence. Okay, I came back to Sri Lanka, and I went through another section called, there's a Salayatana Vagga, which both of you will be going through. And when I read that one also, not contemplating, but very fast, then 120%. This is what inspired me. Then I thought I must quickly give this to others. Okay, so there was a monastery and everything ready. So I was reluctant actually, because I was so used to being alone and not like this, I really on my own. But I always had the desire to serve, to give this knowledge. So then I started the retreat. So the initial retreat, what you are getting here is actually, I have cut it half. Okay, so there's a lot of reading, but contemplative reading, and when you find time is not enough, where I say you have to finish this reading at this particular time, then you will have to read fast. That doesn't matter. Okay, so today's word of the Buddha, okay, that you must, so I call it, now I'm happy, in Sri Lanka, I call this a magic book. Okay, so how much samadhi or whatever you practice, you must know this is the king of meditations, because that will, if it's properly done, it will give you wisdom. Okay, wisdom. Like for example, Angulimala Maharatan, he killed so many beings. Okay, for him those sins to be washed completely. Do you think if you practice enough metta, anapanasati, in a samadhi way, of course there's a way how to attain nibbana through that, but if you practice those practices, do you think he'll be able to overcome all those sins, and do you think he'll be saved? No, he'll definitely be born in a lower world with that karma of being a serial killer. Okay? But what? He attained arahatship. What is the meaning of attaining arahatship? It is that insight knowledge from one of these discourses what you are now going to read. Okay? So someone even told me, Bhante, even someone to get to hold these discourses, how much good karma, parami they must be having just to come in contact with the pure teaching of Buddha himself. Okay? That is the right map for the treasure map, you could call it. I hope now in this retreat, when you're in solitude, two things will increase. Okay? Can you guess? One is drowsiness. Everybody can relate to that, right? Other one is with food and all that, whatever that is there, you feel more interest to that. Don't worry, drink the food. But these practices, like when you lift your hand, try not to open your mouth. Okay. So when be conscious, be determined. So like if you put it out, the puke or whatever, just contemplate whatever you can visualize. So when you're taking the food, try to take it, like when you near your fingers to your mouth, then open your mouth. That much restraint, just small points, okay? But you'll be aware that you will be interested in food more than normal, and sleepiness, drowsiness might come. So don't worry, okay? Other one is mental proliferation, like you'll be daydreaming. The daydreaming is like a lot of thoughts. Offering thoughts may come. Okay, so you can time to time chant, recite a bit, go refuge to the Buddha. Not that you do it long time, just use it as a tool. Then you have something to read and contemplate. Okay, you have to cover that. That will already be something you have to. I will tell you how to do the walking meditation and all that. Okay, so these things you have to be conscious of. Being silent and try to avoid the people with kindness. Okay, so like don't try to find people who you know and try to avoid them. All right, so that you get the lone feeling, because this is how I spent with my teacher. So I'm telling you how to cook this special tasty soup. Okay, this is how I know the amount of things that I put. So those days, the 14 days I spent with my teacher, it was like, it was a very beautiful place. There's a beautiful lagoon and all that. So in the morning when I had to go for food, I would not look at the lagoon also, knowing that is also a distraction. That much it is sensual thing. So I only delighted that time with the metta bhavana. Okay, compassion meditation. Only I thought something, I'm going to enjoy something. But that blocking of the senses was very helpful. Okay. So the 14th day only I had some very special experience, and so you have to keep, now even in your retreat, 3rd day, 4th day, and you have like a half day next day, no? So the half day also you might have to go on, but I don't pressure you, like what we did in Kale, no? Kale, is it right? There the retreat, I didn't actually, what it is, the 4th day I gave, because they did well, okay, they did the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, all I find are really interested and very determined. I was very glad with the crowd, even I can feel it here. So, I can see all of you are really interested to become enlightened. I'm very glad, I'm not joking about this. I feel it's an urgent thing, because some things with my free time and ability to research, I could see that, these people, where they are reborn, the modern day, a lot of people. I will tell about that maybe today. There's a public talk. Yes. Okay, I might. They will also take part, or we here, or where is it? Okay. Okay. So I'll explain those things at that time. Otherwise, I will not have material to tell you. Okay, but it's the same line of thinking. Like in Sri Lanka, everywhere I'm awakening this actually. The main this thing is to make you rise again. So that your consciousness will be raised to a higher plane of not only consciousness, your wisdom. The wisdom that will make you overcome your defilements. Okay, which I was also practicing for long, so that this will become practical thing for you to face any adversary and old age and finally death. Okay, So it's targeted towards that, so that you will meet the right standard, and that's all I can give you. Okay, it might be too heavy sometimes, but don't worry, take it, you relax, all right? You will get definitely. You are coming here means it's itself a qualification. Something would have been already blocked you and stopped you. So this is how I told also the organizers, if they manage physically to come, that means they have that, so I will just explain some things. Okay. So here you will very much know about Kanda, 5 Kandas, So the Kandas, you must have some idea. We have the body normally, okay? We have the body and consciousness. These are the main 2 things that we tell somebody, this is me, or a person, okay? These 2 phenomena we see in a being, okay? We have a body, do we not all? We can see that, okay? And then what we call, we are thinking, we are feeling, all that. What do you think that is? That is mind, and we can call in one word, consciousness. Say somebody hit you and you became unconscious. Okay? And then it's very clear that you have only the flesh body. Okay? Then you become conscious. Okay? So now we are mostly conscious. Only when we are sleeping also we have that kind of unconscious experience. Alright? So we have these main 2 things. We can name and form, we say. But mainly we say, some have come from KL also, no? Okay, no? They have not come from there? You are staying here. You came from here to there for the... Okay, right. So you are telling the truth. Okay, good. Now for you it will be different. How many of you are like that? 2? 2, no? Okay. So you will have a good practice, another different practice I will tell maybe, okay? It's like you will do that more contemplating thing, not rushing with the suttas. Alright, you don't need to rush. Alright, so you can, even the word of the Buddha you can go through slowly. And I told you how to meditate, like in the walking meditation, what you have read, and contemplate. So you can also do more samadhi practice also, with metta and anapanasati. Before I told you only 1 hour from 6 to 12 and 12 to 6. But this time you can see how you really get samadhi. You can spend more time. But if you're stagnating, don't stick to that. Make sure you read. But don't read the fast way. What is striking, and maybe I will tell you what suttas to read. What is striking, just take them, and then in your walking meditation you can contemplate. Or while you are just there, just try to go into the sutta, what was clear to you. Okay, try to relax, steady, and then go to that, and then maybe apply. Do that exercise more. Okay, you don't need to cover a certain page which I tell. Alright? This is the actual way it should be done. So that is, so in your case you get some idea of that, but you will have to, rush, because this is like, if you never be, after this you cannot come at all. So this is like a general, this thing I am giving, which you are getting the specific one, also the idea. And also I'm mixing up with the yogi, how when I just read also that when you're going out of this retreat, that you'll be going with something, like you will take so many gems with you. Okay? So by force, even a small child comes, they will take in that. That's how it's created. Alright? So you have body and you have consciousness. Okay? So how do you notice the consciousness? I will tell you. Say someone hit you unconscious, like one of the Bruce Lee's, what is this? Dragon kicks. One of my favorite heroes was Bruce Lee. And some of you, I can see the Bruce Lee face in you. And I really like it. I'm not joking about it. Really. He was my hero. Those days I feel so much I felt connected with the Chinese, the people. And when I was very young, I used to be very naughty, and also with, so I can never forget, he used to tell to use the hip, so now I'm using a different hip. It is the inner energy, inner force. That's why I can see the chi energy, right? To how to harness that. So it is with lot of compassion, love, and that you can come to samadhi with that. All right. So with samadhi, if you use it properly for enlightenment, definitely very easy journey. Without getting attached to samadhi, that can be nicely used. Okay. So say someone hit you unconscious. You're unconscious. Okay. And then initially when you're becoming conscious, how do you know you're conscious? What are the signs of consciousness? You begin to feel. Okay. And whatever you feel, there's something in your mind that judges that feeling as pleasant, unpleasant or neutral. That judging, that measuring of what it is perception. Okay? That's called perception, sanya in the Pali language. So if you perceive it as pleasant, there's something that reacts with greed. If it is unpleasant, it reacts with hate. If it is neutral, it reacts with delusion. And if that reaction is only at a thought level, it is called mind karma. Okay? If you speak with that reaction, that is called word karma. And if you act with that, react with the body, that will be body karma. So this is just a basic idea how the karma is made. And if someone has doubt about karma and all that, especially Westerners, I give them this, tell them to read Edgar Cayce Many Mansions. Okay, that one very nice about case studies about, he was known the miracle man of Virginia. He used to go into an unconscious state and then he used to diagnose people's problems, sufferings, diseases. And he used to tell some of the problems related with previous lives. Now they don't believe in previous lives. Those part of the world, they think it's Christian religion is there. So previous lives, and he mentioned karma in the past lives. Like Crusaders' time, what they did as a soldier or, so then how now they are, now I know one story, so many stories, very interesting book. So you get a feel of the karma, karma. You must get that. That's the basic sammaditthi, right view. Not just from a book, you must, even in your own life, you should have been able to notice your life from, if you had enough equanimity, how like a pattern of how, like in a pattern way, certain events take place with family, with relationships especially, with the working places. That is your karma. So it's actually, if you are aware of it, you will know how to change the way you react now, rather than blaming things outside and make more karma again and just continue this cycle in simple terms. So one story I remember, Edgar Cayce, he used to tell about what was it? He's unconscious. Somebody had to be there to write what he's saying. Someone else is speaking there. So he, one time, one lady in New York, she came for some problem, and she was very like a beautiful lady. Her hand was so beautiful that she was using that hand for jewelry advertisements, So she had, and she was very spiritual also. So she had another problem. For that she consulted Edgar Cayce. And then in the readings, it was telling that she was a nun in previous lives. And when she was a nun that time, she has cleaned the toilets and everything with lot of faith, without feeling a yuck feeling. With the hand, she has used the hand. That was the karma she got, that beautiful hand. And being spiritual, why she is so spiritual was she was being already developed spiritual practices in the past lives. So there are many stories like that. Okay, that's very interesting to know. So we have consciousness. We become unconscious. So so normally we take slow motion how this happens. Okay, 5 skandhas. So we have ear, we have the sound waves. This is the material part. Okay. For example, like we call rupa. Have you heard the term rupa? Yes. Rupa? Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. Okay? So Rupa is the Pali word for form. Alright? So the ear is Rupa, and then the sound waves. Okay? Based on these two, initially there is that kind of attention. Okay? That is the most initial moment of consciousness, I could say. So that attention, those three coming together, there is that corresponding consciousness, ear consciousness. Okay? And with that contact of the three properly, they happen immediately, simultaneously, there's feeling. Okay? A sensation. Then there is that judging of the sensation, that is perception. And then there is that reaction based on the way you have, how you perceived. You react. Okay, that is the karma. In the Paticca Samuppada, the condition links also, ignorance is the cause for, Sankara. That is the Sankara you should understand. Karma forming Sankara. Okay, mental formations is called in English. Okay? It's like a panic button now. It's not a participant, I think they're the organizers, okay? If it's a participant, I'll also get a heart attack, okay? Don't worry. Don't worry. Yeah, there's a lot of room to jump. Window. So all this hard work is like, no, we should have some strictness. Then you get that, results. Otherwise it's in vain. Okay? You have made so much effort and I want you to really benefit from this. So that slow motion you should know. You have so the 5 skandhas, this you will be reading through that, but then you will, just to give you an idea. So that's something you should know. Anything you want to ask? That you have just registered and other thing I must tell you. So what is underlying in you in the first day normally, this might come up. Okay, what is underlying karma you have? Maybe some fears, maybe some shaking, you see. This happens actually, I don't know how, we'll see how it will happen here. So it can happen, that is, some, I told you already to prepare to practice Asubha Bhavana 2 weeks before, impurities, the meditation of impurities, and Metta. So they will help you. Metta meditation, and then refuge to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, that is all very helpful. These are small things, will help you if you're in proper solitude. Okay? And because these underlying thoughts might come out, and especially suddenly sensual thought may come up which you never imagined, and anger thoughts, fear, all this might come. Okay? So if it comes, that's good. Then you chant a little bit and read a little bit. If it doesn't go away, then lie down and observe it. Okay? Don't try to resist it. And do you have a Bodhi tree here? No?
Yes.
There is? Yes. Where is it?
The entrance by the side there.
Okay, it's like properly made or for worship? Or is it just like a tree you are having?
You can worship. It's
Okay.
the original tree with the Buddha and
Oh really?
Yeah.
From Anuradhapura?
He brought 3 saplings.
Okay.
Mahindra temple has one here, and the other one is at Penang Buddhist Association.
Okay, 3, very nice. So you have a live Buddha body, actually. So this is, if you have like something you feel confused or disturbed, you can go there and chant like Karniya Metta Sutta 21 times or little more. Even if it doesn't work like that, okay, you can inform me. Alright? So if it happens, alright, these are some tools for you to, in case you feel something, like uneasy and can't understand, like you feel, then you can do that. Otherwise, don't do it all the time, okay? So you're like going ahead. So it's only when you get some kind of issue, okay, you feel this thing, you can do it. And when soon it's okay, you can come back. Because now this underlying these things, if you don't do a retreat, they will never come out. Okay, this is the karma you have done. Okay? So if you don't do a retreat and clear it by, I call this is like a tapasya, clearing the karma. It's okay, I think. No, sir. If you do it, then it'll be like this, better. Okay.
Just now you asked, thank you for your compassion and kindness for coming to Penang. Just now you mentioned about whether we can ask a question.
Yes.
I have 3 questions. Can I ask you?
Yes, why not? Don't try that. I mean, it's okay. Yeah. Now you can hear me now? It's working? Yeah, it's okay. You're trying to make me comfortable as possible. Yes?
Yeah, thank you, Bante, for your kindness and compassion to come to Penang. And I have 2 questions. Because after listening to what you have said about psychic power and all this, very much I'd like to know who is your teacher. And also
you don't
the
know?
guy that you met in Himalaya. That was the 2nd question. The 3rd question is that, can you tell us a bit more about yourself? When have you gone into ordination, and that what is your path, and that how do you achieve the first enlightenment, perhaps? And that, of course, that, we will be very much interested as your path to this stage, and that. Because from my experiences that, or my practice is that, I consider my teacher is the Buddha, and I practice the early Buddhism. So I would like to listen to Bante's wisdom and insight. Thank you.
Actually, who inspired me very much, I sometimes tell in the talks, so one German monk. To answer this, maybe I had to go to, I was in southern Africa, in Lesotho, as a young boy with my parents. So from young age I was interested in, no one knows about it, no? Not much, no? Okay. So there I was, I had a curiosity from young age. And then I met my, I was on my own trying to know what is life, what is going on. So it was a science atmosphere, okay, with my, in school, and as well as the teachers, as well as my father's company, like whoever comes to him, it was a university. So there, one thing that really, initially the thing was theory of relativity. Okay. Einstein's theory of relativity, especially the time dilation, that near the speed of light, time can be slowed down. So this really fascinated me. And then I connected that with my mother had these books, with her, like old texts of the Buddha's teaching. And then one of the suttas where Buddha like the Sakka, king of gods, visits the Buddha. And it explains about those dimensions, like the Tavatimsa, those heavenly worlds. 1,000 years on earth is one day there, like that. And the other world, Devalokas. And then the Brahmalokas, Brahma worlds, that they are more lifespan, more time. So it looks like fairy tale when you just read that sutta only. But with this theory of relativity where the time is possible, that don't write this down. This is my just background. Because it's like, I don't want you to follow that route. It is like my route, how I came to the Dhamma. So, so this actually helped me to really believe that the other worlds do exist. Alright? Especially the king of God, the Sakka, I thought is powerful. And then this actually helped me to, now I have been only thinking of these things. Can you hear? Okay, it's okay. So I have been only busy thinking of these particular ideas and things. I didn't study at all. So now some miracle have to happen. So can you relate to me? I hope not. I don't want to tell young people around, because they will not a good thing they will get from me. So what happened in the night, through relativity, I got this faith. Now, if you have faith, by faith only you get connected to those planes. Okay, so with relativity, I knew now this is actually working, this principle, and then these worlds do exist. And that way, when I felt I had no doubt about the existence of those, particularly the King of Gods, and he's powerful. I had the English language, English language essay, old test papers, and the syllabus, and English literature, old test papers and syllabus. So the essay gets a lot of marks. Okay, so I had these titles, like a few titles, and when I felt I was connected, I sort of guess that this will be a title. Okay, so then, but I felt I was supported by that force that I'm already connected with. So the next day, I told my father I don't tell what I was doing. Okay, next day I told my father to get 2 essays written under these 2 headings with my tutor. So the tutor also wondered, have I not studied everything? Just focusing on these 2 headings of essay titles. So he wrote anyway. Then I went, it was IGCSE, the Cambridge Syndicate. So we were the first batch, in that exam nobody fails. Do you know this? Like you have grades up till A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like this. So given a grade, that you studied this for so many years. Okay? Do you have it here? I don't know. So anyway, when I went to the exam, these 2 headings are there. For me, I'm like searching for something, I am not care about exams, nothing. I'm really like, searching for truth. So it's like the universe was in my hand, I felt so, like confident that I'm going on the right direction. That was like a meditation, my first meditation, I would say, like 16, 17. So still I didn't get the idea of becoming a monk with that experience, okay. Based on this, something else happened. So meanwhile, I wanted to study astrophysics because I thought that will give me more answers. So I was waiting for my results from Princeton. Einstein was my hero then after that. I felt, so he was at Princeton last. So after application to MIT and Princeton, USA, my father was concerned, because he knew I had a monkish kind of this, and it was trouble. He was actually not very happy. He was sad, I think. So, but when he found that I'm at least going now, in the direction of study and all that, maybe he liked it. So while I was waiting for the results, those days I was also very interested in cricket. I don't know, a lot of sports. And so I was playing for clubs and all that. And then I had a habit of in the evening going for a walk. So while I was going for one of these walks, this particular moment I had a certain experience where suddenly it came to my mind, what are the causes for any phenomena, something like this, a mental picture, okay? Suddenly it came like rising, passing away. So I verbalize it as anything that begins in time definitely ends. For this understanding, there's no beginning, therefore there's no end. And it came to me like, this is it, And at once I saw a monk in my mind's eye. Like not a particular monk, that I must be like that. These monks are people, that everything is going to pass away, that they're just covering that body and then making this insight to happen. That I must make this insight happen again and again. This is how it was, Then I told my father, I want to be a monk. I didn't tell all this, but I started changing also. I was experiencing a certain kind of peacefulness, and though I was wearing lay clothes, I was looking like a yogi, I think. Because when I used to even take food, I should take slowly, with the peace of detachment. And so my mother was my first disciple. She had certain faith. She used to come and ask. So I used to be in the room only. So when we came to Sri Lanka, my grandma said there's this German monk who comes arms round. So this is how we first met, my teacher. Okay. You can. I met my teacher later on. Then he immediately directed me to reading the suttas, the original words of the Buddha. Okay, so that time I'm cutting short a lot of the stories, because we have less time. So then the suttas, how to apply as a meditation object, this was very clear to me then also. Okay, first one was Mahastipadoppana Sutta. It's a very analytical sutta by Sariputta Maharatan once said. So I used that, to see like when I read that, I remember to take, part like the 5 elements. We will be going through that a little bit. 4 elements, apotejo, the hard nature, soft nature, and to apply it to you, and then to see how you disappear, the idea of you, when you see them as the hard nature within you and the outside is same when you really look at it plainly. And like that, each part, like watery nature, like the blood in you and the water in the tap, like you can sort of visualize this, and then you see that they're same, they're not different. Okay, because it's in this space you get an idea of me, I. So this I used to practice. And I remember I was staying staying means I had to get money and everything from an auntie who gets very angry, like hot tempered. So one day I was stubborn about I want to go on a certain the tooth relic exposition. So she took me already with passes, and when I came back I want to go again in the line, because those days bombs were going, the LTT. So when I told her this, she went on shouting, oh. And then immediately this practice was there, I used to see as elements, and then this consciousness is like illusion, what we are hearing, seeing. And she also wondered what happened. So this was the first and the last time she scolded me. So this has to be practical. You'll have to bring it to your, third wisdom eye. Okay, I will tell you how to do that. So this is how it started. So then still I had to complete my studies. I found my father was, I had to get his blessings. So it went on for several years after that. Then I spent time with my teacher. The first 2 weeks, that was really helpful for me to stay. That was really life-changing, I would say. So that way I got some solid experience with the Dhamma. Then it repeated, I stayed months with him, and then 28, when I was 28, I ordained. Okay? Did that answer your question? That's one question, right? So, sorry? No, you know what happened? When I had that experience of rising and passing away, I was getting this experience of like the mountains and everything, like jelly. And I saw the longest thing that would last in Princeton will be the lecture halls, which is made out of like granite. That all looked like just dissolving. And my desire to be in anything in the world disappeared completely. And actually there's later on I didn't choose, I was just meditating and waiting. So there initially we had a problem with the visa. They thought that I'm going, whole family, everybody will go from Lesotho to southern Africa. So they didn't give visa. So my father was concerned, then he knew I looked so meditative and I'll enter I will ordain maybe. So he sent me to Nicosia, Cyprus, the university there. So I did my 2 years there, and then I came back to Sri Lanka. I didn't complete the degree. So it went like that. After that, I spent the time with my teacher, and I was able to stay more longer time. The first 2 weeks that I stayed with Bhante was after Nicosia. I came, I had this free time. And that was a life-turning moment. So I didn't pursue, then I did a job also later on for 2 years. These are all to balance when I found that there was some definite karma I had to, that's another story. So then I worked for 2 years, and this was like when I was 25. So 26, meanwhile I was attending to my teacher. And 28, everything worked out that I was able to ordain. Then it was, then after ordination only I was living an ascetic life. We were living in Ireland. And in 2009 only I started 2005 also I went to the Himalayas. As a layperson also I went to the Himalayas a lot. Badrinath and all that. So this was like a sansara, I think, some habit. I was 25 I started going Himalayas as a layperson. Stayed in those caves and many experiences there. And 27 also I went, and I had some yogic inspiring yogis in India there's another story, there's another part, it's not time for that. So then when I came back to Sri Lanka, everything was ready for ordination. I felt everything was okay. Then after monk also, when in 2005 I went to Himalayas again and practiced there. Then again from 2009 I was going to Kailash. That was an entire different chapter. Kailash is like internal in Tibet. So this was like every year I was going until this year, because last year also I was there. And this year I got this chikungunya. This year seemed to be like a long year, because maybe because I was sick like never before. For 6 months, 7, now nearly 5 months really, all the joints and all that. So I can see, giving Dhamma so much, never have given so much. And I have all-night programs also in Sri Lanka, in sacred places, where for gatherings, for more people, that's like a more energy for people. They want, like trying to bring the Buddha more close. And the programs, 3-hour programs. And then the retreats. No, that's a different. It's like one of. I would not call him. He's a great friend of mine, I would say. He was a yogi in India. That was recently 23. I met 2023, and he's and my teacher is a German monk. He passed away in 2005. Oh, sorry, 2010. 2000. Sorry.
One of the students of Bhante Gnanaloka?
Correct. You know already, why you asking me? Sorry?
I'm trying to put in the pieces.
Oh, okay. Gnanaloka. He was one of the students of Gnanaloka.
And yourself originally from Sri Lanka?
Me, myself?
Yes.
Originally I'm from China. I know. You might tell why Bhante you lie. But definitely one nice senior monk once told, to my grandma, if you get tricked, it's a lie. But surely it's not a trick. You know that I am not from China. So I am not lying, okay?
During the war to China?
No, I was joking. I am Sri Lankan actually, but I could see my body looks very much in the North Indian. The North Indian, they mistake me for North Indian, the Nepali. So I see that maybe it's my karma.
Because a lot of Indians do migrated, like for example Gandhi.
No, not like that. No. My father was working for the UN, so he was posted there in the university. Yeah.
Right.
That's how we went. But that was my meditation place, it was so solitary. I think they have written about Caledon River. I used to go for a walk. It's so nature, like very desolate. So that really helped me, that solitude, I can notice that.
So you were at Victoria?
Sorry?
Were you at Victoria? It's not a Victoria, the capital.
Pretoria. I have not been to Pretoria. I have been to Durban and Joburg, Johannesburg. Yeah. I've been not to Pretoria. It was the administrative capital that time.
Just by nature, I'm very curious.
That's good, but I hope you'll be curious about the suttas very soon. Because there are some special things I have about it. There's a mystical part of the suttas. I hope that all of you will get that. I think, okay. This time is right? So today I'll have to go for lunch to the temple, but from tomorrow I think I can take here so that we can, cover. So it's now 10:30, right? 10:30. Okay. So what should I want to start now immediately. Let's see what, Yes?
Bante been talking about contemplating on the sutta, and because usually when we go for a retreat, we are asked not to read
Yes.
anything at all. So
Yes, I understand, yeah. I will tell you the difference. Actually, this technique base, in the modern time, you find most of the retreats are based on a technique. Okay? A technique is derived from a sutta, like Satipatthana Sutta, and made it this thing for, a lot of people. So here is very different, technique versus sutta. Now you have a pattern of suttas you'll be reading. It does something to your mind. Okay, in the modern times, so this is a unique thing you'll be getting. But the main core, this thing is that you will get a vision from the sutta. So that is the Dhamma Vijaya Bojjhanga, analyzing the Dhamma. That Dhamma. So this is a very big shift, and there are so many ways that your character is so different. So you're given the chance that so many ways might suit you. Like you have so many choices of food that which will, you might, so that way, and also the repetition of that same theme, because your mind will get used to them. Buddha's time, sometimes second time when the discourse was told, they attained something. Okay? So now here maybe not second time, about 50 times it's repeated. So this knock, one time it won't break, knock, second time, Buddha's time it broke. Now knock, 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 then it might break. So that effect, that is there. Okay? And keeping sense control and emptiness of the mind, so that will, bring that wisdom mind which is sleeping now, slowly to start to awaken. Okay? It is because this is a very specific wisdom, the Buddha's wisdom, not the way I am explaining or something like that. So I say this is a retreat with the Buddha, not with me. Unfortunately, I don't see it happening anywhere, and I have to work very hard. It does not happen because these are the old practice, olden days, Paryapti, Pratipatti, Prativeda. Paryapti means study, but not for exams or whatever, is reading or hearing. Those days it was hearing, okay? So from a person who is already, attained or whatever. So when you're hearing that, you will contemplate that. That is the Pratipatti, practice. And when you're contemplating those what you heard, now you're reading, okay? But for hearing, you're doing the reading. When you're contemplating that, Prativeda, that means experience. That means intuitive experience. Okay? So that can happen. So that is the main one that is in this retreat. For your intuition to happen from the suttas. So sutta is your stimulation. That is Buddha. Buddha directly being because Buddha is nothing but a meditation. Buddha is a living flesh blood meditation. And then he transmit what he instructs is a sutta. Okay? Sutta means that. So that sutta, what is recorded when you are doing that, then this will happen to you. So you don't try to understand the sutta also. If you don't, you skip the next. Like that you go on. So it is not an order you have to go. It will be one like a key, bundle of keys you have. now. So what you do is, you try each key. But if you stuck, you don't try that too much. You try the next one. Next one. There's one that suddenly opens. Okay, that's suddenly what becomes clear. So it takes time also, like 1 day, 2 days, the third day, you have been, detoxed by all these, phones and all these things. So the brain gets prepared to get that, use that insight. So maybe it's these 3 days, 4 days, maybe it's 1 week, 1 year, 2 years, this might have an effect. Okay? So at least you're on the path. One day you'll have to go on this path. Okay? One day, either by meeting a Buddha, or now you're already meeting the Buddha from his teachings. If this is lost, then that is all lost. So great. Bhante has come here. I think he was the only person. Actually, I also thought, like even Venerable Brahma Vanso Bhante, they use the word of the Buddha and everything in Australia. But it's explanation of the suttas. So actually the sutta themselves you must get. So you have to go to like you're going back to the time of Buddha. You're calm, you're preparing your mind also to that time. Then you will get that spark experience. Who has got that spark from the suttas will never try to explain it or anything. Because that the Buddha, as he is, it's powerful enough. And that's the original, you could say, level of insight you get. So that is, I would call it, it's not a duplicate Nibbana, it will be original Nibbana. I'm sorry I put it in a very harsh way. Okay. So it was like my teacher and few people who have practiced and lived, nobody followed, and like he was not in society, they lived their life to experience the teachings. People only know their external life, very inspiring, everything, but their Dhamma now hopefully the people are getting to the public. Actually what I am giving you all, he only tells to the monks. When monks come, I have seen him, if you want to attain Margapala, fruit, path and fruit, he used to tell, you must read Kanda Salayatana Vagga, okay, which it's in your main book. So now I am giving it to laymen, monks, anyone who wants to attain Nibbana, I am putting that, giving that platform. Okay? So because whoever has the possibility, my concern is that why not try? Why not lay people also try? And there may be people who have the potential to do that practice. Sometimes maybe more than monks also. Sometimes more attachments in the modern day certain situation. So monks also, anyone who wants to interested, especially to get that how to contemplate the sutta, that is the main key in this. Because that is the one that will make you experience Nibbana. Joniso Mansikar is also called. And you find the Bojjangas, the enlightened factors. It is the Sati Sambojjanga is like you should learn to develop mindfulness in the present moment. Okay? Okay, I must tell you, in the retreat you have to very much start from now itself. Is when you are getting up, when you are moving, don't just think and just go. Remind yourself to pay attention to just now, right now. Okay, slow down. Like you have to remind yourself, like just to pay attention to the flow and see your movement from outside, how you get up, how you walk. Try to. It will not come naturally. You will just forget that and that. So remind again, no, Bhante told this, let me remind myself. Okay? When you're going to the toilet, don't just open, at least close the door slowly. And don't dang. Okay? So slowly now you have to remind yourself, it will come unconsciously, but now you're on a training ground of mindfulness. And with that, other one is sense control. Try to recognize people around you. Okay? And this is another practice you must do. Like for example, now look at my eyes, you find I am focused, right? I'm focusing y'all. I can see some people. Now look at me. Do I look focused? Or no, not focused? What do you think? Now I am focused or non-focused? Focused. Now unfocused. So you have to learn that, that you are not paying attention, like you are generally seeing everything, like a vague Okay, that you must practice as a yogi. Then only you will perfect the sila in a highest way. That's called Indriya Samvara Sila, that monks are supposed to practice, called crores of Sila they are practicing. That's how the sense control practice. Okay, that will help you to reduce monkey mind and to have more samadhi easily. Okay, so even the food, you must try not to taste the food too much. That means you must munch from your teeth, trying not to touch from the tongue. You see, this is not going to be easy, right? So you should try these things, So you should know even the touch is like a burning, like this. If you have that intensity, then you get more results in the meditation, afternoon meditation. Okay, they are related. So more use, because after actually sex is food, that is the most this thing. So you find why many meditations it's not happening, it's not taking place or developing in meditation, because they are indulging the food, they don't take it so seriously. Buddha wanted to put one very severe rule to disrobe if you taste the food. Parajika, I don't know whether you know these rules of the monks. We have grave offense, like 4 rules if you break, we have to disrobe. So he wanted to add the 5th rule for that as tasting the food. That much we are damaging the meditation evolution. So it was not practical. So what he did was he put this contemplating while eating. So a technique where you contemplate, like dhatu mattako nisatto nichivo sunyo. They are just elements, no person there, and like that you contemplate. Also I add to that, like you vomit out, you can picture that. And while he's touching, you can also watch why the touch is like a muck inside your mouth. Okay? So you should visualize what is inside your mouth. Alright? Like otherwise you are imagining what is outside is like inside. Okay? While you're eating slowly, you can visualize how it is. If you vomit, you took it to your hand, you know the real nature of it. Okay? So you can try, even little bit you practice is good. Okay? Don't worry. Okay? In case you're tasting the food, don't think, oh my God, what's happening, or feel upset. But at least joyfully make that effort. Try it. Time to time you do see like that, that's good enough. Okay? You must think how the Arahants, the yogis, how they practice. And I am also one of them this time. So let me get that energy and effort. Okay? These are very important. But when you get up, when you stand, these are permanent, immediate practices you must try. Alright? And then the reading part, I hope the first 2 pages, first 1-2 sections you must read already. Let me see, can I have the... You can keep this, you can keep the tray over there. Then you can keep this book. I will try to come in the evening and also give, because I had to give you the walking meditation, how to do it. And I also have to cover, with my teacher it was like he would tell to read word of the Buddha and read those references of the suttas. So I am reading to you, actually it's like spoon feeding, okay? This much no need. You must be alone with the book and go refute to the Buddha. That's the right way. Sometimes this might be a disturbance for you. Remember my words, not the Buddha's words. Okay, this might not be, but anyway, what to do? I am also too anxious to give it to you all. And page number 5. So what I see is actually you have normally other ways where you don't read the book. This is you have a technique like about nature of world in the world. We will come to that. Okay. So he tells you is real contemplation. That special contemplation. It's about like Einstein or not even Newton, when the apple fell down, like he got that sudden insight. Something similar to that, how this yoniso manasikara or deep wise contemplation has to be done. Okay, so it's like going in a park or something, like when you are in university and you're trying to think about a question, then suddenly you get the answer. So that kind of intuition you'll have to get. Okay, so when you read this kind of book, you must learn to relax. That's very important. All right, you should be relaxed all the time, in fact, but then you must sit comfortably, not in a posture where like you are struggling. You can lean somewhere, sit on a chair if you like, okay, but where you can stay long and comfortable, but the back erect is good. Okay, keep your spine erect, and when you are reading, you must know when you are coming, this is a meditation. It's not a reading like a school, okay, where you are gathering knowledge. It is like where you learn to focus, and so for this, one important thing is picture yourself from outside, okay, and bring your mind to the present moment. How do you know you have come to the present moment? Like relax now, like this. And to pay attention to the sounds that you're hearing. In a relaxed way, with the idea of letting go, you pay attention to the sounds that you're hearing. Always keep your head straight. Don't keep it drooping, okay? Always, and the spine, if possible, straight, and a relaxed way, in a comfortable posture. If your legs are painful, I know you all must be used to staying like this, because the Indians, they are very used to in the ground, and if it's not, you can keep your legs straight even, okay? But you should be comfortable, but not too comfortable where you fall asleep. And so when you are like this, just pay attention in a uninvolved way to the sounds. Just try to hear properly what you're hearing. When you're hearing, trying to hear some, I think the AC sound, the machine. Can you hear that? Like the seashore, like that sound. No? Do you hear, all of you? Try to pay more attention to that. When you're doing that, you will notice some of the things happening in your body. Maybe the wind in your stomach, or the heart, something, or the breath. When you're trying to pay attention in a relaxed way, very much naturally you will notice the in-breathing and out-breathing, inhalation and exhalation. But it should come naturally, because I tell you now, then you notice, no, not like that. If you relax enough, you're not trying to look at the in-breathing, out-breathing, you will notice as a function happening in your body. Okay. When you naturally be aware of that, then you have an idea you have come to the present moment. Okay. So that is an idea. Then you start reading and try to maintain. So then look at yourself like from outside, alright, how you're holding the book, and then you can start reading. Page number 5. Okay, page number 5. It's just a small tip for you to get an idea that you have come to know how to know that you have come to the present moment. As long as the absolutely true, page number 5, the last paragraph, as long as the absolutely true knowledge and insight as regards these four noble truths was not quite clear in me, so long was I not sure that I had won that supreme enlightenment, which is unsurpassed in all the world, with its heavenly beings, evil spirits and gods, among all the hosts of ascetics and priests, heavenly beings and men. But as soon as the absolute true knowledge and insight as regards to these four noble truths had become perfectly clear in me, there arose in me the assurance that I have won that supreme unsurpassed enlightenment. And I discovered that profound truth so difficult to perceive, difficult to understand, tranquilizing and sublime, which is not to be gained by mere reasoning and is visible only to the wise. Does everybody have the book? Do you have? Do you have the book with you? This one? In the room? Next time you can bring. Even for you to, your ability to look at it, read this, will improve. It's increasing your concentration. When you are unable to read a book also or anything, then your concentration is far away. So you should be able to look at this book and read. Okay? The world, however, is given to pleasure. Now this is a very important point the Buddha is telling. The world, however, is given to pleasure. Delighted with pleasure, enchanted with pleasure. Truly such beings will hardly understand the law of conditionality. The dependent origination. Now very important, why these phones, to keep away all the phones, and why to keep your discipline even 2 weeks before all this sensual activity. Because this pleasure is a main thing, desire from the 5 senses is a main obstacle for you to get this deep wisdom. Buddha tells in simple words, truly such beings will hardly understand the law of conditionality. So do you think this knowing the links by word and all that is knowing? No. There is something entirely different, sight, wisdom, sight. So for that to happen, what is the main disturbing thing is sensual pleasures. Okay? So that's why to downplay or to reduce the sensual activities, why it is stressed so much, is because if you want to make it an experiential thing, a part of you that you experience, so when you are disciplining your senses or controlling your senses, then you get that meditative pleasure also. Samadhi. When you are doing work, you don't feel tired. So when you're walking, when you're attending, I will tell you about that also today in the maybe program mostly. That like early morning when you start with that samadhi and with metta or anapanasati, when you go out, then you go with that freshness and then you are not tired while you're walking, while you're driving. Then when you're driving, you can pay attention to holding the steering wheel and how the touch of the back to the seat. So when you have to develop, specially this is not trained normally. So when you do that, you are anchoring your attention to the present moment, and then you find you will experience that free from tiredness. Okay? So this is one of the effects. Now slowly you change your happiness from normally being distracted and just fleeting happiness to that purified happiness. That is, you call it niramisa, okay? Where you are in the present moment mostly, and then that gives you that particular happiness which is meditative. Alright? That's the main sign is you don't feel tired. Your mind is bright and alert while you are doing the worldly activities. Okay? So when you are doing like that only, there's a possibility that you will have, when you are reading these words, you will have those deep insights. Okay? So truly such beings will hardly understand the law of conditionality, the dependent origination of everything. Incomprehensible to them will also be the end of all formations, the forsaking of every substratum of rebirth, the fading away of craving, detachment, extinction, nibbana. Yet there are beings whose eyes are only little covered with dust. They will understand the truth. So the Buddha, when he attained enlightenment, how he spoke about this, okay? So this is a more meditative one, object, page number 9. This kind of reading, contemplating will also, if there's stagnation in your samadhi, this will also clear. This is like an all-round thing, and wisdom also, it will give you the real wisdom. And what now is the group of corporeality? It is the four primary elements and the corporeality derived from them. And what are the four primary elements? They are the solid element, the fluid element, the heating element, the vibrating windy element. So it is explanation by the monk who wrote this book. Next page, page number 10, we go. What now is the solid element? The solid element may be one's own or it may be external. And what is one's own solid element? Whatever in one's own person or body, there exists of karmically acquired hardness. Now look at the word put by the Buddha, karmically. These body parts don't come by accident. They are coming by karma, previous lives. Okay, what kind of feelings you must go through. So you get the body in such a way with certain diseases, with certain lifespan. So this is done by, orchestrated by the karma you have done in the past. Okay, so you have to, whatever in one's own person or body, there exists of karmically acquired hardness, firmness, such as the hairs of the head. Now when this is read, you must visualize those parts of your body. Hairs of the head, hairs of the body, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, sinews, bone, marrow, kidneys, heart, liver, diaphragm, spleen, lungs, stomach, bowels, mesentery, excrement, and so on. This is called one's own solid element. Page number 10. Page number 10. This is called one's own solid element. Now, whether it be one's own solid element or whether it be the external solid element, they are both merely the solid element. Now, this is where the contemplative part is there. You can know my cheekbone here and then the hardness of the mic here is same. Okay? In terms of the hard nature. And one should understand according to reality and true wisdom, this does not belong to me. This am I not. This is not myself. Now when you are contemplating like that, if someone who is full of craving and desires cannot do this, okay, to some extent you are reduced your craving and you are wanting to reduce it more. Such a person who is relaxed with this idea, when you apply this, the hard nature of your cheekbone maybe or the outside thing, and if you mentally look at that, when you see that there's no difference, you sort of eliminate that part of you. That means your attachment to that. Then there's the fluid nature. So it is the blood may be moving in your body and then the water tap maybe or the river, the water outside. So if you look at it both way, both the watery nature of the outside and the inside, what is in your body, maybe urine, when it goes to the commode or whatever, when it falls on the toilet there, it mixes with the water. Do you call it my urine? So when it was inside, you get a sense, it's me. Okay, like that, you see the watery nature, that also you can eliminate like that. So when you eliminate the self, the wrong idea of a self with the body. Okay? What now is the fluid element? The fluid element may be one's own or it may be external. And what is one's own fluid element? Whatever in one's own person or body, there exists of karmically acquired liquidity or fluidity, such as bile, phlegm, pus, blood. So you do that contemplation, okay, or visualize it, and then you see, when you really properly look at it, you will begin to see, know me, I would call it, okay, no self there. And there's another way later on how to see the mind, consciousness as no self. That's not easy. You might be able to visualize the body as no self, but how to know the consciousness not the self? Can consciousness arise without a body? Can it arise? What do you think? Can say Elon Musk or somebody, creating a robot or something? Consciousness is not even understood in the modern world properly. It's like trying to relate to neurons in your brain. Still it's under research thinking, what is this consciousness? But in the ancient philosophy, it's already known consciousness related with karma and is something separate from the body, but it arises depending on a body. It cannot arise in free air. We know now, just now we also studied that consciousness we need the ear, is a body part. And the object from outside, it's a body part, body actually. Okay? Depending on these two only, the consciousness arises. If you don't have an ear or eye or a nose or the tongue with flesh, made out of flesh, you can't get consciousness. Okay? Even if it's an animal or anything, it's a flesh body. Alright? So when you see the body has no self, then which depends on that also has to be no self. That's how you get to know that consciousness is also not you. So that is in a wisdom form you realize this. You can't know it, you can't catch it. Okay? So you might perceive it, realize it when you are contemplating in that way. Alright? So in that page number 11, the next page, just as one calls hut the circumscribed space that comes to be by means of wood and rushes, reeds and clay, even so we call body the circumscribed space that comes to be by means of bones and sinews, flesh and skin. Okay, that is clear, right? Page number 13. Dependent origination of consciousness. Now, though one's eye be intact, yet if the external forms do not fall within the field of vision, and no corresponding conjunction of eye and forms takes place, in that case there occurs no formation of the corresponding aspect of consciousness. Or though one's eye be intact and the external forms fall within the field of vision, yet if no corresponding conjunction takes place, in that case too there occurs no formation of corresponding aspect of consciousness. If however one's eye is intact and the external forms fall within the field of vision and the corresponding conjunction takes place, in that case there arises the corresponding aspect of consciousness. So you have the flesh body, flesh eyes, okay, just the flesh eyeball. And then you have forms coming. So there is that conjunction of initial this thing which I told, these three have to come for consciousness to arise. This link is very important to understand very clearly. Okay? So the ear and the sounds, nose and the sound. So just imagine, picture yourself without consciousness at all and how the sound wave or sight or forms come to your vision, field of vision. And then the initial, there is that conjunction, then the consciousness arises. Like you don't hear from your eyes, okay? You don't see from your ears. Do you? Is anybody there who can see from the ears? Maybe it would be good for the NASA. So anyway, just see how each sense organ has that particular domain. Alright? And they are rising conditionally. And hence I say the rising of consciousness is dependent upon conditions. And without these conditions, no consciousness arises. And upon whatever conditions the rising of consciousness is dependent, after these it is called. Consciousness whose arising depends on the eye and forms is called eye consciousness. So you can't make, anyway, no way you can make it material. So by the time research is still done, doing, they will die and reborn in a, I don't know, they will maybe never come back to the laboratories. This is a very narrow, very, it's actually, unfortunately this is what value today in the modern time, the science, which is very materially based. So, but if you want to be wise and get that deep wisdom about life before you die, to know the secret of life, then this is good information. Okay, this will really help you. I think I will have to explain that in the afternoon. So just to make you familiar, page number 15. individual existence as well as the whole world is in reality nothing but a process of ever-changing phenomena, which are all comprised in the 5 groups of existence. This process has gone on from time immemorial. This is a tongue-twisting word. Before one's birth and also after one's death, it will continue for endless periods of time, as long as and as far as there are conditions for it. As stated in the preceding text, the 5 groups of existence, either taken separately or combined, in no way constitute a real ego entity or subsisting personality, and equally no self, that is in the body, feelings, perceptions, soul or substance can be found outside of these groups as their owner. In other words, the 5 groups of existence are not self, nor do they belong to a self. In view of the impermanence and conditionality of all existence, the belief in any form of self must be regarded as an illusion. Just as what we designate by the name chariot has no existence apart from axle, wheels, shaft, body, and so forth, or as the word house is merely a convenient designation for various materials put together after a certain fashion, so as to enclose a portion of space, and there is no separate house entity in existence. In exactly the same way, that which we call a being or an individual or a person or by the name I is nothing but a changing combination of physical and mental phenomena, and does not no real existence in itself. So this explanation by the Bhante is good, okay, for you to get some. This is the brief Bhante who wrote this book, Gnanaloka Bhante, of the Buddha. That actually he wrote this book for his own personal use. He was a scholar, but my teacher, he became an ascetic scholar. He put it to real practice for full action all his life. 29 years of wandering life. Okay, like only the Vasa period is to stay in one place, then on foot, in fine jungle or anywhere I stay, like in the Buddha's time. I also did that, not like all continuously, time to time, but my teacher was very different. It was continuously, and with this knowledge, the way how to experience this. So I think it's a rare opportunity for all of us to get that, that to without any experimentation, clear path that we can make an effort and get real result. Suppose a man with good sight beheld the many bubbles on the Ganges as they drove along, and he watched them and carefully examined them. Then after he had carefully examined them, they would appear to him empty, unreal, and unsubstantial. In exactly the same way does the monk behold all the corporeality phenomena, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and states of consciousness, whether they be of the past or the present or the future. You must learn to apply it inside. After reading this, you must guide your attention to think. Put it to the past. Okay, now even some things maybe happened few minutes ago, few hours ago, even few years ago that you remember and very unsettling maybe. Put it is empty. Okay? And then what you might expect in the future. It's how blissful it is. So to some extent, if you are in the present moment, this becomes meaningful how to do it. But you're already running your mind is past and future, and in a weak state of mind, then it's difficult to contemplate this. Okay, but you will come to it now. And as I told you, give me 3 days, at least 4th day morning. Okay, at least the 4th day morning. If something you feel that you nothing, then I tell you can give me a good shot. Okay, give me 3 days. And make sure you do those practices, okay? But keep silent, read, time to time, go refuge to the Buddha. That's very important. And refuge means you imagine he's in front of you, and then just pay your respects and think of the mighty master. How he perfected to become like that. Not to spend hours to do that, just 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And then you feel inspired, then start reading. Then you can. But for meditation, you can only spend 1 hour every 6 hours. Okay, 1 hour for metta and anapanasati. Okay, but other times you'll have to read, contemplate. Okay, because I will I think I might have to go because we have to travel, but tomorrow I'll be here. Then that your faith will be so much faith placed from the words, from wisdom, not from some kind of vision of a form. Buddha's words were, Yo Dhammam Passati So Mam Passati. Whoever sees the Dhamma sees me. Whoever sees me sees the Dhamma. May that be an experience to you all. And with some experience of this only, I am giving you this encouragement and this thing to do. I would never like to misguide, or if I am not 100% sure of something, I would never come and tell you and insist on you. And I can see when I face near-death experiences, and that time, there's nothing that could help you than that refuge and that contemplation. So this is the time you have got this opportunity, and definitely have some patience, these few days, and in the evening I'll be coming too, and I hope all this will help you to develop that steadiness, strength of mind. May this be an experience that will come to you and save your consciousness from going anywhere down, that you will have firm faith in the Buddha. That's one quality that makes you could say, liberate when you are dying moment, that nothing will shake you, no worry, no fear, and that take you to a higher plane and more to practice to the end, to Nibbana. So transfer to your parents, relations, all living beings from the lowest to the highest, and especially the 4 protective devas and the Sakra king of gods and the other Deva kings, Brahma kings, and 32 crores of devatas who protect these noble teachings. May they also receive this noble good karma, and unseen, seen beings, great beings who with merit in this part of the world and all over your ancestors, may they all get these merits wherever they are, so that they will also come step by step to a state of happiness. And all the noble teachers, pay respects to them from all the masters who have brought these teachings to this part of the world. It's a great thing, What is Dhamma Ratana or Priya Ratana? K, there was a name, K, who came, he was on his way to England or somewhere, who started this initially? Prema Ratana, K Prema Ratana, A Prema Ratana. It's remarkable, who has sown that seed there and gone in 1912 or something like this. 18. It's remarkable, all those great noble beings who, had compassion to do this and bring the torch of the Buddha, the light. And I hope with their protection, facing all these obstacles with the other opposite forces, that definitely that humanity will get a touch of that liberating teachings, and they are being Buddha's actual final, Buddha's main mission, that compassionate mission to liberate beings from suffering. So all these things should be in that direction, with that wisdom that people get opportunity to practice like this and get their get the highest teaching and the highest experience, that they get an opportunity. So may the holy feet of the Buddha's sacred conch shell and the disc pay your obvious veneration to that, go refuge to that mighty master. And may all Ishivaru, Munivaru, Siddhalata, Gandharunta, Bahirunta, Naga Naginta, Devatenadipati Varunta, Brahmaloke, Brahma Divya Raja Varunta, Tistam Kotya, Kalpe Shakya, Maheshakya, Samyak Dasti, Devi Devataan Mahansalata, may Punya Shakti Anumodam Vitva, may Palati Nasya Vishtakami, Devi Devataan Mahansalata, Sri Yativan Mahansalata, Namaskari. Saduding Sadutta, Sir Sadvent, One Magagamanka, Perapim Matvit, Skiota. Sabat, Dharmi Shakti Apaya, Kasir Dinata, Mehutum, Yativaran Mahasalage, Mahapunya Balya, Dalada Samidu Gyananta Gunapalya, Mehutta Manushya. All blessings to all of you. Samsara Therapy. Dharme Shakti, Dharme Samsara, the fear of samsara, may it disappear from all of you. May the ancient great masters, their power, strength come to all of you. Get all the strength. All the Sangha and the lay people get inspiration again of this great dispensation. And all beings, human beings in this part of the world and other countries too, get strength again to practice on this noble path. And all creatures and living beings get an opportunity, peace and hope to come out of all worry and fear to highest happiness.